Hello and welcome back, everybody. I hope that everybody is having a fantastic and wonderful day. I think it just started now, so let's start it again. Hello and welcome back, everybody. I hope that you're having a wonderful and fantastic day. I know I am. Definitely giving a lot of thanks, for having another day to be great, feeling healthy, and just being able to do what I love. So, if you guys have not been here before, my name is Will Zapata, and we have created this channel to dedicate to give homeowners like yourself and even other people to have a free platform where they can learn about solar. They can ask any questions that they want about renewable energy, and they can at least be in an area where they can feel like they can get the information and they don't have to worry about, buying the system or being sold something or have it shoved down their throat, right? So, basically, welcome back, everybody. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Such a pleasure to be able to do this again. Basically, what we're here to do today is to ask or to answer the question, how can I go solar, right? Solar is something that is becoming more and more popular, right? Especially as electric rates continue to rise. And what we're looking to be able to do is be able to showcase an area where you can get all the information that you need, be able to stay informed, and then arm yourself with the right tools that if you have the opportunity and you're ready to make a decision, then you're going to be able to go ahead and transition your home over into solar and, give the utility company the good news that, hey, you're going to go ahead and separate from them, right? So, who the first question is okay, guys, who is solar for, right? And technically solar can be for everybody, right? Everybody needs to be able to see the sun, use the sun to not only power their homes but to power themselves. But specifically here we're going to talk about solar as residential. In the residential area, we're going to talk about solar when it comes to powering your home. Okay, so the first thing that you need in order to be able to go solar is, yes, you need a house. Typically, the way that it works for most places, not all, is that you do need to be the homeowner, right? And you want to at least have been living in the home for a minimum of 12 to 18 months. The reason why I say that is because you need to break in the house, right? Like you need to see what you're going to use for power. You need to be able to see, well, how much power you actually need, if you're going to make any kind of modifications, because all those things are very important when it comes to deciding the size of the system that you need for your home. Okay, so take your time when it comes to it. If you're a new homeowner, make sure that you got some usage down, right? Especially, when we're a first-time homeowners, we want to make a lot of changes. We want to be able to do a ton of upgrades when it comes to our house. And you want to make sure that those changes, those upgrades, you're preparing for that electric consumption. The other thing is that's becoming super popular is electric vehicles, right? So if you're thinking about charging your car in your home, well, then you're going to want to make sure that the solar system that you get on it has the capacity to do that, right? One of the things that I didn't even mention, I forgot, is that if you are thinking about solar, make sure that you're picking the right home, right? You want to give yourself the advantage when it comes to renewable energy and making sure that, hey, you got a lot of sun exposure, making sure that you're, if possible, your roof is a south facing roof. Make sure that it's nice high up because you want to be able to maximize what your production can be. So before you even get the home, right, if you're thinking about solar, right, maybe you're like, hey, you're renting right now, or you have a roommate but you're thinking about solar one day. As you drive around, take a look at and see like the homes that you're looking into that interest you. Hey, do they get a lot of sun exposure? Are they not covered in trees? Is the roof in good condition, right? So first things first, make sure that you're able to break in the house, right? Literally make sure that you're able to use your home. Make sure that you're going to be using appliances, take into account, the winter time, the summertime. Do you have electric heating? Do you have central AC? All things that are important when it comes to what is your energy consumption, right? That way you can understand what is your capacity for solar. The other thing is how good is your credit, right? With very rare exceptions, but it's good to have it as the norm, you're going to need a credit score of at least 650 or above, right? You're able to go solar in a few different ways, whether it's financing, whether it's a third party ownership, or what they call a PPA or a lease. And for the some of the few of us that can, you can even go cash, and at that point your credit doesn't matter. But seeing as we're all working very hard for our money, if we're able to utilize the credit that we have, you want to make sure that you have a credit standing of at least 650 or above to make sure that you can qualify for the system and the programs that could be available to you. We mentioned this before, but good sun exposure, right? I can't say that enough. If you're in an area that gets heavy shade or you have lots of trees, that's going to diminish what your production can be when it comes to solar power. So make sure, team, that you're able to be in an area where you're getting a ton of sun, you're able to maximize your production, because that's what's going to allow you to be able to maximize on your savings, right? So, homeowner, got to be a homeowner. Make sure to live at least 12 to 18 months, and then make sure that you're able to get a good amount of sun exposure. Remember, the better the sun exposure, the more you're going to be able to maximize what solar can do for you. Now that you have all those things covered, what are we looking at when it comes to designing your system? Right? What we're looking for is the utility bill, right? We want to see what you're using inside the house. As I mentioned before, you want to take into account, do you plan on making any changes to the home? Because that's going to be very important when it comes to deciding what solar system that you need. So take an opportunity to look over the utility bill, see if you're going to need any kind of upgrades, whether it's going to be mini splits, central AC, electric heating, because that can vary and change how much solar production you need to get off your roof. Speaking of the roof, we need to make sure that our roof is in good condition, right? We're not trying to put a new solar system on an old roof, right? Typically, I like to let families know that if your roof is within the 5-year mark of needing to get changed, we should change the roof first, right? Because your system is going to last well over 25 years on the roof, and you want to be able to utilize the roof to add an extra layer of protection when it comes to your home, right? So the roof that you want to look for, make sure it's 1 or 2 shingles, right? Make sure that you got good support, right? That you don't need to replace the wood within it. Make sure that it can hold the solar system, and these are all things that your solar expert can help you along with their engineering team basically decide if your home is going to be a good candidate for solar. So make sure that your roof is in good condition. If not, I would definitely see about how you can go ahead and replace it. In some cases, if you're able to bundle solar and your roofing together, you're able to offset the cost of the roof by using the 30% tax credit if you decide to, either pay for your system or your project cash or finance it. We mentioned this before, team. Make sure you're getting good sun exposure, right? If you're living deep in the forest, not that there's anything wrong with that, right? I love, nature myself, but you want to make sure that if you are in an area that is heavily treed, that is going to affect the way that you can produce or the kind of production you can get on your home. Typically, if you are in an area that is heavily shaded, that means you're going to have to get a lot more panels to get the kind of production that you need, which can lead to increased cost. Okay, so just a quick recap, right? Make sure, hey, what do I need in order for me to go solar? Be living in a home for at least 12 to 18 months. We want to make sure that we got our usage down packed. We want to make sure that we have a good credit score of at least 650 or above. Again, on rare occasions that can fluctuate, but a good rule of thumb is you want to make sure that is at least a 650 or above. The other thing, good sun exposure. The better you get, the better the sun exposure, the more you're going to be able to maximize your production. Again, if you can look for south-facing roof planes, take full advantage of that, right? If you have a south-facing roof that gets sun all the time, that means you're going to be able to maximize what your production can be. Take a look at your utility bill, see what your usage is, what is your need inside the house, right, team? So you want to make sure that you're looking at how much power do you need? Are you planning to make any changes, right? Make sure that you don't have any extra charges that the solar won't offset. In some parts of the country, right, you're going to have a connection fee that you still have to pay to the utility company. So make sure that you're aware of that. How good is your roof condition? Make sure that you have a really good roof. If you can take advantage of any kind of solar programs where you can bundle the roof and the solar, that is awesome, because you'll be able to get a 30% offset or 30% tax credit when it comes to the total cost of the system. How good is your sun exposure, right? We talked about looking at the shade. We want to make sure that you're not under, tall trees. We want to make sure that it's facing a good direction. We want to make sure that you're going to be able to maximize what your production is. Now, as we mentioned, team, there's not a one size fits all approach when it comes to solar. Sometimes, what works in one house may not work in another home. So look at what options you have. We mentioned that you can buy the system outright, right? You can finance the system. You can do a third party ownership or lease. So, depending on what your situation is, maybe you're in a situation where you're retired, right? Well, it may not make sense for you to either, finance your system because you may not qualify for the 30% tax credit that comes from the federal government. Maybe you're in a situation where you're going to live in the home for a long time and you can say, yeah, I'm going to finance it. I can take advantage of that 30%. I get a locked in rate and I'm going to go with an option like that, right? As the interest rates, have climbed, I know they fluctuate, but as they've been climbing since 2024, you might look at an option where you say, hey, I'm going to do a third party ownership. I'm going to get a huge discount on what my cost of electricity can be. And I'm going to go with that option, right? It won't show up as a DTI if you're able to get a third party option or a lease. And you can say, hey, I'm not financing the system. I'm simply using my roof that was making me no money before. And now I can use it to save on my utility bill because the sun is going to hit it anyways, right? Now, here are the kind of things that make working with myself and even other people on my team completely different, right? Is the personalized attention. Like I mentioned before, there's not a one size fits all for everybody. Everybody has different personal needs. Everyone has different goals for their house, right? So you want to make sure that whenever you are converting your home into solar, that you're given special details, that you're given special attention because hey, you don't eat the same thing that your neighbors eat. You may not power your home the same way that your neighbors do. You might have different needs than your neighbor. So, just looking at what your neighbor has is not going to be a good indicator as to what you need for solar. Sure, you can ask for their advice. You can see who they went solar with. You can see what their experience has been, but you want to make sure that your project is given personalized attention. Another great reason why, a lot of families love working with me, in my 10 years of doing solar, I've been able to help out hundreds of families, and it's by keeping everything simple, right? Solar does not have to be complicated, right? It's actually a lot of fun. It's great to be able to see your home convert to solar, see your electric bill go down once the solar goes up. But the thing that you're able to get from me and my team is a very simple process, right? Have lots of communication. That way you know what's happening every step of the way, right? Remember, solar is not complicated. The simpler it is, the better it's going to be, the more you'll be able to enjoy it. And you want to make sure that you're just as involved in every step of the process as everybody else, like the installer, the permitting team, and even the town in some cases, right? Lastly, what we like to focus on is we like to focus on values that's going to be, long term. We want to make sure that we're able to make you feel like we're family. We want to be able to make sure that what we're putting on your house is going to be something that's just not going to benefit you right away, but in the long term. Everybody, we love our houses. Our houses typically are going to be the biggest investments that we make in our lives. And we want to be able to be with you every step of the way to make sure that you enjoy your solar system, that the right expectation is set from the beginning and you're not hit with any surprises, right? So, you want to just make sure that somebody has your best interest because at the end of the day, it is your home. They should treat your home like it's theirs, right? They should make sure that they're not cutting any corners. They should make sure that they're double and triple checking. I'm a big proponent of you want to measure twice and cut once, right? And you want to make sure that the system that you need, it is optimal for your home, okay? If you're thinking about going solar, right, and maybe you have questions, please feel free to go ahead and send us a DM. Go ahead and send us a message. Feel free to reach back out to us, right? Again, we made this series so then that way you can feel comfortable asking any questions that you have about solar, right? Sometimes we feel like if I speak to a solar rep, well, that means I have to go solar right away. not necessarily true, families. You want to have the freedom to be able to go solar at a time that's most convenient for you. And I always say the best time to go solar was yesterday. The second best time to go solar is today. But your today may not be today, it could be at another time, right? So you want to make sure that you're checking off all the boxes when it comes to converting your home into solar power. Feel free to also reach out to us if you need, if you would like it, just a free estimate. It doesn't take a long time. It's not that complicated. As I mentioned, one of the benefits is just making solar simple. And by doing that, we can look at your utility bill, we can look at how optimal your home is, and we can see if solar does work for you. So, a quick recap, right, of everything we went for. How can I go solar? Remember, make sure that the house that you're looking for, if you're not in one, has great sun exposure, right? Go ahead and type in, if you go to Google, you can type in project sunroof and you can look at how many sun hours your house get. If you're able to get 1,300 hours or more, then you're in a really good position, right? So make sure that you're getting good sun exposure. Make sure that your credit is at least a 650 or above, right? That's going to help you be able to get the best programs. Make sure to get yourself qualified. Look at your utility bill to see what your usage is, right? What is your need when it comes to renewable energy? Look at your roof condition. We want to make sure that your roof is in good standing, right? It's not falling apart. No shingles are missing. Take a look at that. Make sure that you're not heavily shaded, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you're covered by trees because then it's not going to be able to benefit you. Um, Make sure that the person that you're working with is giving you personalized attention. Remember, right, families, your needs are not the same as your neighbors, right? You want to make sure that they're going to treat your home like it's theirs. Make sure the process is simple, right? Make sure that it's not complicated. If you don't understand it, that means it's too complicated. And then make sure that they share the same values as you, right? The solar is going to be on your system for over 2 decades or more. It is your home. Your home is probably your biggest asset. It's probably the thing that we spend the most time in, and it's probably the thing that we appreciate the most besides our lovely families. So I appreciate everyone that took the time to speak with me and visit me today when it comes to this. I'm looking to be able to create this as a platform where we can, talk about renewable energy, we can ask questions freely, and we can see, does solar work for me? So thank you so much, and I look forward to our next segment as to how does solar work. Have a great day, everybody.